Hello everyone, and welcome to another video, and welcome to Tom Cruiser, episode 14. At the end of episode 13, we thought it was all over, but it wasn't long before Hadley received an email from Azobo Wisdom. "Good evening," he said. "I'm Cash Pastel from Garden City, New York. Am I talking to Mrs. Hadleyville from England?" "Hello? Yes, it is. Can I help you?" said Hadley. "Good evening," said Azobo, who apparently had changed his name by then on his email and realised what he'd done. "My name's Cash Patel, and I'm from Garden City, New York. Can we have a little conversation, if you don't mind? I got some few questions for you. I won't take much of your time. It's about a message you sent to Miss Anna de Armas, asking her for money so you can get Mr. Cruz out of an island. Am I correct?" "Yes, that's right," agreed Hadley. Our man launched into his story. "That's all I want to hear. Like I said, my name's Cash Patel, and I'm the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is known as FBI. Yesterday, Mr. Cruz asked me to contact you here. He said someone messaged Miss Anna de Armas trying to scam $20,000 from her, lying that he's held captive and being slowly poisoned by his own manager. So she quickly called Mr. Cruz to confirm, but luckily he picked, and he's not in England or getting killed by his manager in any mysterious island, just like you said. And then you told her to contact you here, so you'll send her your account that she'll send the money to. Luckily, she contacted him first before sending you the money. If not, you would have scammed her $27,048. And she's not the first that you've scammed. A lot of people have been scammed by some random people claiming to be Mr. Cruz and stealing high amount of money from his fans. Now that we've caught you red-handed and with proof, he'll like to use you as an example to the rest, pretending to be him, scamming his fans and taking their money. And that's why he handed over this cast to me and not my agents. I'm still investigating on the cast. I believe you're the leader because you got the balls to go scam her. You tired of the smaller money and you went for the big once. I'm still investigating on the cast so I can have more evidence, so I can hold you custody in New York and not in England, because if you hold custody there, your government will like to make sure the news doesn't get out of England, and they'll reach to reason with Sir Cruz, so they'll handle the cast. But I want to handle this cast myself, because Sir Cruz wants to use you as an example." Terrified and quaking in her boots, Hadley replied, "Hi, Tom. I can't be bothered to email back and forth. Can you get yourself another number 15 Facebook account, please? Or a Zangy. Kind regards, Hadley." "Do yourself a favour," replied Mr. Patel, "and get a lawyer before I get much evidence to hold you under custody in New York. Or you could do me a favour and not get a lawyer, so I could hold you under custody in New York." "I'm not answering emails again," said Hadley. "You're taking too long to answer. Get another Facebook account or a Zangy number. Goodbye, Tom." The scammer snarled back, "I'll get a better prison home for you here in New York. You're charged of fraud, attempting to scam Miss Anna de Armas £20,000, which is $27,048, converted to US dollars. And I'm going to enjoy using you as an example to the reach." "Cash," replied Hadley. "You messaged Denise Singleton a couple of weeks ago and tried to get her to register with a crypto account. Do you remember?" A couple of weeks previously, Denise had indeed received a message on Facebook from Cash Patel. Was it the same group of scammers, or was it just a coincidence? Cash Patel is head of the FBI in the US. Our scammer, of course, denied it. "No, so you've another friend in on it, scamming others for their money, or you're scamming her. Don't worry, I already have the evidence I need to put you in jail. But I want to hold you custody here in New York, so you'll be in jail here in New York and not in England. That's why I need to dig into the case more. I'll use you as an example to the other scammers like you, and changing your name won't do you any good. I know a lot about you already." "Thanks for your time. I'll have your time all to myself when I get you to New York. It's going to be fun, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. Many people died in the process of them getting scammed all their money, and you just enjoy doing it and taking others' money, and you spend all the money on yourself. That's so heartless of you. At least now we know what the scammers do. And you decide to take your scamming to the next level and try to scam Miss Ana de Armas, and that's enough proof I have to get you arrested for fraud. But I need more proof, so I can hold you custody here in New York, and I do to you whatever I like, because you're going to be an example to the world. I'll be seeing you in court soon. You and everyone involved in this fraud will pay dearly. I promise you that. No one is above the law. I'm not here to have a long conversation with you. You tried to scam Miss Ana de Armas, and you'll be going to jail for it, and you'll be using an example to the rest of the scammers out there. Apparently our scammer couldn't manage to put all of that in one email, which he was sending during the night while Hadley was asleep. But then Hadley was contacted by Mark Rowley. New Scotland Yard, Victoria Embankment, London, SW1A2JL, P.O. Box 457. Private and confidential. Dear Mrs. Phil, it has been brought to the attention of the Commissioner's Office that you are the subject of a preliminary inquiry concerning a suspected fraudulent transactions. You are hereby instructed to present yourself to the office of the Assistant Commissioner at New Scotland Yard, Victoria Embankment, for questioning. Failure to comply with this directive may be treated as deliberate obstruction of a criminal investigation and could result in immediate escalation of proceedings against you. If you feel confused, feel free to state it with immediate effect. Failure to reply will compel this office to take further action without notice. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, New Scotland Yard. Hadley, of course, replied. Subject: Re-instruction to attend interview. Reference: MPS/FRD/0825 Ville. Dear Sir Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, Metropolitan Police Service. Thank you for your correspondence dated the 28th of August 2025, which I note with interest. While I remain somewhat perplexed by the vague nature of the allegations referenced, I am of course willing to cooperate fully with any legitimate inquiry. To that end, I would appreciate it if you could kindly confirm the specific time and date of the proposed interview at New Scotland Yard, along with the name of the officer conducting the session. Additionally, please clarify whether this summons has been issued under any formal statute or procedural code, as your letter omits reference to any such authority. I trust you will understand the importance of transparency and procedural accuracy, try saying that, guys, in matters of this nature. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Ville. Mark Rowley replied, You're to report to Assistant Commissioner Lawrence Taylor. Were you'll behold custody. Till the FBI Head Director Mr. Kash Patel gets to England. He has given us some strong evidence that you're involved in fraud, and all this evidence are in my possession now. We can't have you destroy the name and standard of our great nation, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Imagine because of you the other nations starts thinking we're scammers. I can't let that happen. I'm forced to let him hold you custody in New York as soon as he gets here. Hadley decided it was time to consult her solicitor. Instruction from my client, Miss Hadley Ville, wrote Hadley's solicitor. Dear Mr. Rowley, I am copying this letter to Mr. Kash Patel and to my client, Miss Hadley Ville. Miss Ville has contacted me concerning emails she has received from yourself and Mr. Patel. In one email, Mr. Patel stated, Do yourself a favour and get a lawyer before I get much evidence to hold you under custody in New York, or you could do me a favour and not get a lawyer. I'm sure you understand that these statements are both legally and morally bankrupt, and both I and my client demand an apology for such unprofessional behaviour. Mr. Patel is the head of the FBI. I sincerely hope this email was, in fact, written by a member of his staff and not by himself. Your claim that you are forced to let Mr. Patel hold my client in custody in New York as soon as he gets here is, as I'm sure you are aware, both factually and legally incorrect. Formal extradition proceedings will need to be issued by the US government if you wish my client to travel to New York. Please let us know when these proceedings will be initiated. Your email to my client requests that she attends the office of the Assistant Commissioner at New Scotland Yard. Naturally, I will advise my client against attending until formal extradition proceedings have been finalised. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury, Senior Partner, Smythe, Crowhurst, Ashdown and Macready. Think about it, guys. SCAM. An incensed Mark Rowley replied, highlighting most of his email in black to make sure that we didn't miss it. I'm not here to negotiate with you. Check your client phone. You'll see the message she wrote to Mr. Cash Patel. I can see you're not good at your job. You didn't see this case in every edge before jumping into it, and that's not my business. Mr. Patel has strong evidence of your client trying to scam Anna de Armas £20,000. Failure for she to come will compel this office to take further action without notice. Because your client is the scammer here, she's trying to destroy the name of your nation. She haven't taken any step to go against Mr. Patel accusation, and she can't do it now because she had her chance, but she just sit down and willing claim the accusation against her. Mr. Patel as have that screenshot because she thought there's nothing he could do to get her under custody, and that's why he connected me to prove her correct. And he'll hold her under his custody. Go and message him, not me. This beyond my power. I'm to provide you before he gets here. And if you want me to do it the hard way, I'll do it. Instead of my nation name should be corrupt because of your client's selfless act, I'll provide her to clear our nation name. Thank you. Cassandra smelt a rat. I'm unsure which illiterate member of your staff wrote this email, but it's regrettable that they were able to access your private emails, and even more regrettable that they were able to send that. It's clear to me that you have serious security issues with your IT, and may potentially have been the victims of a data breach. Accordingly, I will advise my client not to engage in any further communication with your office until these issues have been satisfactorily addressed. I will also alert the Office of the Prime Minister so that they are aware to suspend communication until it is safe to do so. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Realising what he'd done, our man resorted to AI. New Scotland Yard, Victoria Embankment, London, SW1A2JL, 29th of August 25. Private and confidential. 2. Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Law firm name, needed. She gave him that. Law firm address, needed. Dear Ms. Cassandra Higgins Danbury, re your client Hadleyville. The Office of the Commissioner has been informed of allegations of attempted fraud involving your client. In light of this, I'm requesting that your client provide a complete and detailed account of events, beginning from the outset of the matter under inquiry. It is my preference to hear directly from your client through your good offices before any formal proceedings are escalated. The Assistant Commissioner is prepared to review a full written statement, but your client should be aware that failure to cooperate may lead to compulsory measures. I expect to receive your response, together with your client's account, no later than brackets, fictional deadline date, close brackets. Please ensure that the statement is comprehensive and addresses the matter from its inception. Yours faithfully, Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, New Scotland Yard. Cassandra had copied the first email to both Cash Patel and Hadley, and incensed Cash Patel also wrote back, Your client didn't fire charges against my accusation against her, Ms. Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Even if she did, I've strong evidence against her of which she agreed on that it was true. Your client was disrespectful to me on our first conversation. That was when I told her that she should do herself a favour and get a lawyer, or she would do me a favour and not get a lawyer. I owe you guys no apology, and it's clear to me that you didn't ask her questions or dig into the case before message me, Ms. Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Cassandra, of course, realised the issue. It appears that you're a victim of the same data breach that has taken place at New Scotland Yard. The perpetrators appear to be semi-literate bullies with zero knowledge of either US or UK law. There will be no further correspondence with your office until this matter has been addressed. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. At this point, Cassandra thought it was time to contact her journalist friend Celia, who, of course, contacted Mr. Rowley. Dear Mr. Rowley, I was contacted this morning by Miss Higgins Danbury, senior partner at Messrs. Smythe, Crowhurst, Ashdown and Macready, solicitors in Essex. She forwarded me an almost unbelievable email, purportedly sent by your department. We believe your office has been the victim of a data breach and are running the following article on our website. We await your comments. Breaking news, said the article. Serious cybersecurity breach at New Scotland Yard. Celia Warburton, senior crime reporter, 29th of August 2025, 10:32 a.m. The Daily Magnet has been alerted to a potentially serious data breach at New Scotland Yard. Miss Higgins Danbury, a senior partner at a major law firm in Suffolk, contacted us earlier this morning. She forwarded to this paper an email that she had been sent, allegedly written by Sir Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police at the Metropolis. The email, seen by this newspaper, was appallingly written and was a blatant attempt to bully and coerce Miss Higgins Danbury and her client. It was obvious that it was written by someone who has no connection with Sir Mark Rowley's office. Miss Higgins Danbury immediately alerted Keir Starmer's office to a potentially serious lapse in cybersecurity. This deeply concerning incident follows a series of high-profile data breaches around the world in recent months. The Daily Magnet has contacted both Sir Mark Rowley's and Keir Starmer's offices for comment. It seems that Kash Patel wasn't happy with Cassandra telling him that he may have been the victim of a data breach, and so he wrote to Hadley instead. Mrs. Vill, do yourself a favour and get a better lawyer. I already contacted your state head commissioner, so it doesn't look like I came on my own authority to make an arrest in another country without him being told. He'll be putting you under my custody as soon as I get to England. I just need to have more evidence, because I know he'll try to help you, so he can settle the case within England. I won't let that happen. Please take note. Thank you for your understanding. Dear Mr. Patel, replied Hadley, I'll keep this short, because I think you're being hacked. Myself and my solicitor, Miss Higgins Danbury, are getting illiterate emails from the office of New Scotland Yard's Sir Mark Rowley. I think you should get a new account too, because it might be contagious. We await the relevant paperwork to extradite me, and I'll carry on my life in the meantime. Regards, Hadley Vill. Mark Rowley replied to Cassandra later that evening. Immediate clarification required regarding your client. Dear Cassandra Higgins Danbury, with reference to your client, Hadley Vill, I must be clear. No paperwork or procedural submissions will be entertained by this office until I have heard in detail your client's own account of the accusations presently under review. A hearing of the matter and your client's cooperation therein must precede any further formal documentation. Additionally, for the sake of proper records, I require confirmation of your law firm's full name and complete address. This information is to be provided without delay, so that the file concerning your client remains accurate and comprehensive. From the look of things, I see you're taking this as a treat. It'd be better if your client tried to memorise the weight of this accusation and the outcome. I trust you will treat this request with the urgency it warrants. Yours faithfully, Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, New Scotland Yard. If you were looking at your screen, you'll see that that last email was sent at 8:40 in the evening on Friday UK time, so Cassandra replied very briefly the following morning. Dear Mr. Rowley, I'm away from my office until Monday. I will speak with my client and ask her to start compiling her account of the accusations presently under review. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. In case we needed it, I compiled a document. It was about 250 pages long. I literally took about a dozen screenshots from Hadley's conversation with Tom Cruiser and then repeated them. Kash Patel wasn't happy, so he wrote to Hadley to tell her, misrepresentation confirmed. Dear Hadley Vill, our inquiry has uncovered what you have worked hard to disguise. The messages you presented as coming from legal counsel are, in fact, your own. We dug deep, and the trail is unmistakable. Every message, every reply originates from the same location and the same source. In other words, you've been impersonating your own lawyer. I don't know what research they were doing, but they failed miserably, because I can assure you that Hadley and I don't live anywhere near each other. This is not speculation, it's evidence. And with that evidence, your credibility is gone, along with theirs. What remains is how you choose to proceed. If you attempt further deception, you only compound the consequences. If you decide to be candid, then this office may still take your cooperation into account. You have one chance to speak the truth clearly and in full. I strongly suggest you use it. Sincerely, Kash Patel, Special Investigations Division, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Hadley and I started to speculate. What was their aim? Apart from bullying and intimidation, what were they trying to achieve? How were they planning to ask for money? Not wanting to be left out, the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police found himself hard at work at 1:13 p.m. on the Sunday and decided that he also needed to write to Hadley, Dear Hadleyville, Cassandra Higgins Danbury and Celia Warburton. I'm not sure why he included Celia, because he never did reply to her. After a thorough investigation, it has become abundantly clear that the emails you claimed were sent by your legal counsel all originated from the same location. Both the Commissioner's office and the FBI have verified this, and it is now undeniable that you were in fact masquerading as your own attorney, said the Commissioner of the UK Police. We don't have attorneys in the UK. Furthermore, we have identified that the screenshot you provided, allegedly from a different device, was also fabricated. Our analysis confirms that this image was taken from a laptop and does not represent genuine evidence. This constitutes another offence and further complicates your situation. Additionally, you knew we've discovered that you attempted to solicit a sum of $20,000. Have you noticed it changes between dollars and pounds? Under false pretences from a stranger online. This action is another form of fraud and will be considered in the ongoing investigation. Finally, your continued refusal to come forward and provide an explanation directly to this office only compounds the severity of the situation. Given these findings, I am now leaving the matter in the capable hands of the FBI. Since you've chosen not to engage directly with this office, the FBI will proceed with the next steps in accordance with their protocols. I trust that you understand the gravity of this situation and will cooperate fully with the FBI moving forward. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner, New Scotland Yard. At one point, we did consider doing an in-depth analysis of why these emails are just so completely legally wrong. But when I thought about it, I thought of two things. One, we don't want to enlighten the scammers. But two, it would probably be about 10 videos long. Plus, I'm not a lawyer. It wouldn't be right for me to advise you on the law that applies to England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Scotland uses a different legal system. I'll stick to not being a financial advisor on the crypto videos. Cassandra wasn't impressed, and so she wrote to Mr. Rowley, Dear Mr. Rowley, my client has forwarded to me an email purportedly coming from yourself. Although addressed to my client, myself and the journalist, it seems you only managed to send it to my client. We are at a loss to understand the emails allegedly sent by yourself. We were sent this piece of bullying, garbled, illiterate nonsense, she said, screenshotting the one allegedly from Mark Rowley with all the text highlighted in black, for which you have yet to give us an explanation. Yet now you write like a literate person. I am forced to one of two conclusions. One, your system was the victim of a cyber attack and the above was not sent by yourself. Two, you are, in fact, a bullying illiterate man and are now using AI. Could you please clarify which of the above is the case? My client is happy to cooperate fully with the FBI, and we await notification of their next steps. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. The following day, when there'd been no reply, we decided to try and force them. Dear Mr. Rowley, in the absence of a reply from yourself, I assume your silence means that you have realised that your case against my client is baseless and futile. I will advise her accordingly, and assume that this is the end of the matter. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. That, of course, goaded our man into action. Immediate reporting required for questioning. Dear Cassandra Higgins Danbury, Hadleyville and Celia Warburton, this is a formal notice that you are required to report to the nearest police station within the next 48 hours for questioning. It has come to our attention that the database was never breached. In other words, he admits that he's an illiterate bully, and all evidence confirming the $20,000 scam you attempted is authentic and verified. Moreover, it's clear that you have been impersonating your own legal counsel. There is no need for you to claim to be a lawyer, as we've known from the start that you are acting on your own behalf. We strongly advise you to come in voluntarily. Should you choose not to do so, please be aware that law enforcement will be compelled to take further action, including a potential raid on your residence. We want to give you the chance to address this matter appropriately and avoid any further complications. Your cooperation will be taken into consideration and will certainly benefit you because you can't risk being a fugitive. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner, New Scotland Yard. Cassandra replied, I have forwarded your email to my client and advised her to attend her nearest police station as soon as possible. As it has come to our attention that the database was never breached, could you please advise who in your office wrote that illiterate bullying email? Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. And then, I couldn't resist. I sent him a tracking link. My client has advised me that this is her nearest police station, I said, sending him a link to the nearest police station to Hadley. Please confirm that this is acceptable. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Hadley, of course, did as instructed and attended her nearest police station, who was somewhat bemused by her story, but felt that they should email her to confirm what had been said. Hadley asked Copilot to write the email. I'm not going to read it all to you, because Copilot included quite an in-depth analysis of why what had been said in those emails was wrong. I don't want to enlighten too many scammers by including it all here, so I'm just going to read you the beginning and the end of that alleged email. But I will add in here that what Copilot said was potentially very helpful. If you feel that you may be receiving scam emails, run them through one of the AI apps and see what it has to say. Dear Mrs. Ville, thank you for your recent inquiry regarding an email purporting to be from Sir Mark Rowley, Commissioner of New Scotland Yard. We can confirm that Greater Manchester Police has no record of any investigation, complaint or report involving you, nor any request for you to attend a police station for questioning. You're not under investigation by this force or any other UK law enforcement agency to our knowledge. We have reviewed the contents of the email you received and wish to highlight the following legal and procedural inaccuracies. Then, the bit that I'm not going to show you, and it ended with, we advise you to disregard the email and avoid any further contact with the sender. Impersonating a police officer is a criminal offence under Section 90 of the Police Act 1996. I'm sure it is in England and Wales and possibly in Scotland, but I doubt if it is in Nigeria. You may wish to report this incident to Action Fraud via their website, while I can assure you that Hadley has reported the whole Tom Cruiser episode to Action Fraud. If you require further assistance or wish to formally log this incident, please contact our front desk at Ashton Police Station or call 101. Yours sincerely, Inspector L. Cartwright, made up, Greater Manchester Police, Ashton Station, and their email and phone number. But I'm sure you're all wondering if they tapped on that tracking link. I didn't think that they would, but they did. And I'm sure it won't surprise you to know that at least one of the scammers was located in Lagos in Nigeria. But then, 4 hours later, there was an unexpected twist when I received another notification from Grabify of another tap on that link. I'm sure you'll never guess where the next tap came from. It was a first for me. Another one of the scamming team, had tapped on the link from Kigali in Rwanda. And contrary to what we'd expected, which is that the scammers had given up because they didn't know what to do next, the following morning we both got an email from Kash Patel. Your explanation is expected. Dear Hardleyville, you've made it clear that lying is second nature to you. At this point, your credibility is gone. Every word you speak is shadowed by doubt. Still, that won't stop me from wanting to hear what you have to say. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Asking a stranger for $20,000. That demand wasn't just reckless, it was revealing. Now, you owe an explanation, not another excuse. When you speak this time, I expect the full truth. No half measures, no diversions, and certainly no more lies. If you want to be heard, then say everything as it happened. Nothing less will be acceptable. This is your chance to step out from behind the falsehoods and tell the story as it really unfolded. Use it wisely. Sincerely, Kash Patel, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Still wondering how they were going to ask for money, Hadley and I went ahead with the plan that we'd come up with a few days before. As instructed, replied Cassandra. By my client, Miss Hadleyville, I attach her submission of evidence in the form of her conversations with Mr. Tom Cruiser and his nurse, Miss Jessica, surname unknown, and I sent a PDF, which was about 250 pages long. All screenshots from the conversation, about 6 or 7 pages were actual screenshots, and then I just copied and pasted. We wondered how long it would take them to notice, and how far they'd have to get through the document before they did. Followed by, I understand that plea bargaining is a standard procedure when dealing with an alleged criminal misdemeanour under US law. We might potentially be open to such a bargain, because by then we had no idea where they thought they were going. They seemed to have backed themselves into a corner, and we wanted to give them an opportunity to start asking for money. Plea bargaining doesn't happen under UK law. Of course, our team couldn't resist writing back. They wrote to Hadley, Evidence withheld and clarification required. Dear Hadleyville, you've chosen to withhold evidence and you've tried to fight us off with lies. That choice hasn't gone unnoticed. I've reviewed every photo you sent, said our man who clearly hadn't, and I see no justification for what you did. None of them explain why you went so far as to demand £20,000 from a stranger. That question, why you made that demand, is the heart of this investigation. Everything turns on it. You should have provided this evidence from the very beginning. Instead, you held it back, and now the investigation has gone far deeper than it ever needed to. You should have kept in mind that withholding only makes matters worse, including fines and other consequences you could have avoided. The delay is on you, and you have no one else to blame for how far this has escalated. If you expect to be taken seriously, I need the exact piece of evidence that explains your actions. Send me the specific screenshot that shows the reason behind that demand. Do not send more clutter. Do not bury the truth under noise. This is your chance to make yourself understood. Take it! Sincerely, Kash Patel, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. It didn't take much digging for us to find it. Sent to Hadley on the 31st of July. Where Tom Cruiser had said, But Hadley, I need a favour from you, please. I thought she had ordered it already, but she hasn't ordered it yet. She calculate all she will be spending to me, and it was £20,000. Hadley, please can you help me with the 20,000? I know I'm asking for much. Please, Hadley. Cassandra replied to Mr. Patel, Dear Mr. Patel, I have asked my client to find the screenshots you have requested. May I take this opportunity to say that I do not appreciate your bullying, unprofessional attitude, and will of course be approaching the offices of CNN, the Washington Post, and the US President to highlight your deeply unprofessional behaviour. I'm sure you're fully aware that your communications are at best illegal, and at worst could be the basis of a multi-million-dollar compensation claim for harassment and bullying made by my client. We would appreciate a more professional approach in the future, in which you clearly state the full legal basis for all your wild claims and accusations. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. followed by, "The evidence you require. My client has sent me this. Sent to her by Mr. Tom Cruiser on the 31st of July. I trust this will be the end of the matter." And Cassandra sent to Mr. Patel the screenshot that you've just seen, where Tom Cruiser asked Hadley for £20,000. Cash Patel wrote back, still totally convinced that Hadley and Cassandra were the same person, because by now he wasn't even sending them to Hadley, he was only sending them to Cassandra. "Evidence received. Dear Hadleyville, your latest message has been noted, along with the insult you chose to include. If you think calling me a small boy diminishes the seriousness of this investigation, you're mistaken." I can't remember where she called him a small boy, but if you go back through the video you might find it. "It only underlines your client's desperation, or perhaps your own, since we both know who's really behind these emails. Yes, the evidence has now been received, but let's not ignore the facts. It was not part of the original 200 plus screenshots you flooded my inbox with. You held it back. That delays matters. Evidence withheld until it's convenient ceases to look like cooperation and starts to look like manipulation. Pretending to speak as a lawyer doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change where the emails came from, and it doesn't erase the fact that deception has been your only strategy from the start. If your client, or you, want to salvage even a shred of credibility, then this is the moment to stop the games. The evidence is in, but the lies are still on record. Sincerely, Cash Patel, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation." "Dear Mr. Patel, your constant threats, unspecified, and attempts at bullying, failed, are becoming extremely tedious and boring. As you rightly point out, the evidence is in. You now have the exact screenshot of where my client was asked for £20,000, the screenshot you asked for. Unless you have a proposed course of action, I suggest you consider the matter closed. If you do have a proposed course of action, we'd be grateful if you would elaborate, instead of issuing baseless threats, which is unprofessional and pointless. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury." "Dear Hadleyville," snapped back Mr. Patel, "let me make one thing absolutely clear. This matter is not yours to declare closed. You don't get to dictate the course of an FBI investigation, no matter how many insults you throw into your replies. Yes, I now have the screenshot I asked for, but it came late, buried behind over 200 irrelevant images, and only after repeated demands. That isn't cooperation, that's obstruction, dressed up as compliance. Your own state commissioner has already been trying to handle this matter with you, and even then you proved stubborn, holding back information and refusing to come clean when you had the chance. That pattern speaks louder than your words. Now, based on the whole investigation, this has gone beyond simply providing evidence. There will be a fine to pay, and your name has already been marked. If you ever intend to live a normal life in the UK, clearing your name is not optional. It's the only path forward. As for your claim that my threats are baseless, understand this. Lying, impersonating counsel, and withholding evidence are not small missteps. They are offences in themselves. The investigation continues, and your role in delaying and distorting the truth is now part of the record. If you truly want to resolve this, stop playing games, drop the act, face the consequences, and take responsibility. Until then, don't mistake my persistence for empty words. Sincerely, Cash Patel, Special Agent, FBI. "Dear Mr. Patel," replied Cassandra, because he'd sent her that on a Friday night, "I'm away from my desk until Monday morning. Meanwhile, please clarify which statute applies to the fine that you propose to impose on my client. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury." When Cassandra returned to her desk on Monday morning, there was still no reply. "Dear Mr. Patel, we're still awaiting clarification of which statute applies to the fine that you propose to impose on my client. We'd appreciate your response soonest. We would also appreciate a more professional, less bullying attitude on your part. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury." "Important details regarding your fine," said Mr. Patel, who'd finally started to get the point that maybe he'd better ask for money. "Dear Hardlyville. This is to inform you that, as a result of the investigation and the offences identified, a fine of £3,500 has been determined. However, before we proceed, you will need to coordinate with your local Commissioner of Police, Mark Rowley, to get all the details and clarification about this fine. It's important that you follow the proper procedures and ensure that you understand the full scope of what is required. Please make arrangements to speak with your Commissioner at your earliest convenience. Once you have all the necessary information, we can move forward accordingly. You owe your name a clarification. Sincerely, Cash Patel, Special Agent. And so, Cassandra thought she'd write to Mark Rowley. Dear Mr. Rowley, Mr. Patel has advised us that my client should pay a fine and advised us to contact yourself for further clarification and instructions. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Final notice regarding your fine and investigation delays, dear Hadleyville. It has become abundantly clear that your actions have been the primary cause of the delays in this investigation. Your reluctance to cooperate and attempts to withhold crucial information have not only prolonged this process, but have also caused significant strain on all involved parties. Oh no, we can't have scammers being strained and stressed. That's terrible. As a result, and in line with the findings, you're now required to pay a fine of £3,500. This fine is not just a penalty, it reflects the disruption and additional resources your actions have necessitated. It is in your best interest to resolve this matter swiftly and begin the process of clearing your name. Remember, the sooner you take responsibility, the sooner you can start to rebuild your credibility and move forward. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner, New Scotland Yard. Dear Mr. Rowley, your constant attempts at childish, immature bullying are becoming concerning and extremely wearing. Neither myself nor my client are psychic. Mr. Patel informed us that you will need to coordinate with your local Commissioner of Police, Mark Rowley, to get all the details and clarification about this fine. You have given us no clarification and no details. If no further details on how to pay are forthcoming, I will assume you're all bluster and empty rhetoric. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Details for fine payment. Dear Hardlyville, this is the details you need for the fine payment. Remember, this is the Metropolitan Police. If you do receive a fine, I think you can pay through the UK government website. But of course our scammer doesn't know that. This is the details you need for the fine payment. PayPal at Flora, Moneymule's surname, friends and family, and then an email address that was a version of Scooby-Doo at gmail.com. Inform Mr. Cash Patel after the payment is made. I assume this is some kind of bad joke. You're seriously telling me that Metropolitan Police at Scotland Yard use a PayPal account with the email address some version of Scooby-Doo at gmail.com. I have no words, because at the time I didn't. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Clarification on payment procedure. Dear Hardlyville, you appear to be under the impression that I would provide you with the direct payment details of the Metropolitan Police. That is not and has never been our policy. Matters of this nature are not settled through the police's own accounts. They're handled through legal representation. And that's why the details you were given are for a lawyer. If you believed otherwise, then that was a misunderstanding on your part. I've been clear from the start. This process requires legal channels, not direct deposits into police accounts. Your continued attempts to question this only show me that you're more interested in arguing than in resolving the matter. I suggest you stop looking for excuses and begin taking the necessary steps through the proper channel that's already been provided to you. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, New Scotland Yard. Notice that the scammers are still completely convinced that Hadley and Cassandra are the same person. Dear Mr. Rowley, it appears to have escaped your notice that I am a lawyer. Lawyers, or more precisely solicitors in England and Wales, can only accept money into a client account for or on behalf of a client. They can also never have accepted money for police-issued fines. If you believe otherwise, then that is more than a misunderstanding. In fact, it appears that Money Mule's name is a money mule, and you are a corrupt police officer whose intention is to steal my client's money. As you rightly state, this process requires legal channels. Those do not include sending money to the PayPal account of a money mule, nor the blatantly obvious lie of sending it as friends and family. Please furnish us with a more believable payment method. I'm sure between you can think of something. Maybe a bank account in Kigali, yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury. Dear Cassandra Higgins Danbury, at least he addressed Cassandra, not Hadley. I am done with the endless back and forth. The payment method is clear and final. It's PayPal, and there are no alternatives. If your client, Hadleyville, refuses to comply, then she must be prepared to face the consequences of her actions. Can you imagine how frightening that might be if this was a real victim? You have no other choice. If you truly care about your client's reputation, then act responsibly and settle this matter. If not, then your client, Hadleyville, must be prepared to deal with the full weight of the consequences that come with attempting to scam someone out of £20,000. I do wish we could give these guys the full weight of any consequences, but sadly, of course, we all know that that isn't going to happen. If you are genuinely committed to your client, as you claimed, then ensure the payment is made and put an end to these delays. Otherwise, let her be ready to face the full impact of her actions. This is the final warning. No further excuses will be entertained. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, New Scotland Yard. By then, both Hadley and I had had enough of them, and so Cassandra's rather tart reply was, "Your bullying, unprofessional attitude tells me that you're a scamming criminal. There will be no payment. Goodbye. Enjoy your life in Lagos and Kigali. I wish you all the worst. Cassandra Higgins Danbury." Your conduct and baseless accusations. Dear Hadleyville, Cassandra Higgins Danbury, your latest outburst crosses a line. To accuse me of corruption and to brand the receiver as a money mule is not only absurd, it reveals the level of contempt you have for the truth. Throwing wild accusations will not erase the evidence already collected, nor will sarcasm about PayPal or Kigali accounts distract from the reality of this case. Let me remind you, I am not the one under investigation. My name is not the one written into official reports. Yours is. Every word you type, every insult you send, only deepens the record against you. You may believe that ridicule and deflection will protect you, but all it has achieved so far is to prolong an investigation that could have been resolved swiftly had you chosen to cooperate. That choice is yours, but understand this, your reputation, your credibility, and your ability to live without the shadow of this case, those are what's on the line, not mine. If you truly are what you claim to be, then act like it. Drop the insults, stop the posturing, and start addressing the matter. Sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police, New Scotland Yard. Drop the insults, stop the posturing, and start addressing the matter. Believe me, if I could address the matter, I would. But we both know that scamming thieves in Lagos are rarely brought to justice. We're both tired of your ridiculous, childish attempts at bullying. But I'm sure you'll enjoy your starring role in the video when it's released. The audience will be as sad as we are that we're unable to bring you and your team of thieving, lying, scamming bastards to justice. Yours, Cassandra Higgins Danbury and Hadleyville, Scam Exposure Productions Limited, makers of high-class investigative programmes for BBC Channel 4 and Channel 5. Request for Mrs. Ville to report to the station. Dear Cassandra, we kindly ask that Mrs. Ville report to the station at her earliest convenience, so we may proceed with the necessary formalities, including taking her fingerprints and other required information. Maybe this is the way you want it to go. Please be assured that Mr. Patel will be in touch with you shortly via email. Just imagine if this was actually true, and the victim reported to New Scotland Yard to have their fingerprints taken. I think the scam would end there. Mrs. Ville is not allowed to leave town any time soon. Thank you for your cooperation. Yours sincerely, Mark Rowley, Commissioner, New Scotland Yard. Dear Cassandra Higgins Danbury, I'm writing to inform you that I've received communication from Commissioner Mark Rowley regarding the suspect's refusal to comply with the required procedures and information. This non-compliance leaves us with no alternative but to escalate the matter. As a result, the suspect is now expected to present herself at the New Scotland Yard at Victoria Embankment to provide the necessary information and to have her fingerprints taken. Upon my arrival in the United Kingdom, she will be taken into custody. I urge you to advise your client accordingly. The sooner she cooperates, the smoother this process will be. Continued resistance will only lead to more severe consequences. Thank you for your immediate attention to this matter. And he sent a link, which we think might have been a genuine link to Google Maps. However, neither of us were about to tap on it to find out. Sincerely, Kash Patel, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Dear Mr. Rowley and Mr. Patel, you may recall, but apparently don't, that Musville has already presented herself to her local police station. This, of course, will be an integral part of our video. We did not inform the police that this was a scam, as we wanted to see/hear their reaction. To their credit, they did full checks, including contacting their colleagues at New Scotland Yard before assuring us that this was just a scam. We found it interesting how both of your tones changed very quickly when we challenged the initial ridiculously childish, bullying, illiterate ramblings that you sent. I presume you're now using AI to generate your bullying rants, as it's obvious that neither of you are capable of writing in proper literate sentences. As we all know this is a scam, I'm not sure what you plan to achieve by instructing Musville to go to Scotland Yard. We all know that if she did, your scam would be exposed instantly. Yours most insincerely, Cassandra Higgins Danbury in Hadleyville, Scam Exposure Productions Limited. Your mockery changes nothing, Ms. Danbury, Musville. Your latest attempt at mockery does not change the facts. Hiding behind the name of a so-called production company and boasting of videos does not erase your own actions, nor does it absolve you of accountability. You call this investigation a scam because it suits you, because it's easier to hurl accusations than to face the consequences of your own deception. That's your pattern. Insult, deflect, pretend. You claim Musville already presented herself at a local station. If that were true, then you would have nothing to fear. And yet your words drip with anxiety, because you know as well as I do that if this escalate and reach high desk at the Bureau, your pretences collapse. As for your remarks about AI-generated letters, another weak attempt at distraction. Say what you like about tone or grammar. What you cannot dismiss is the trail of evidence you've left behind. The messages, the screenshots, the lies, the £20,000 demand. None of that disappears because you laugh at it. I'm starting not to believe your commissioner anymore. Maybe he's trying to make this slip by, so I'd love to look around by myself. If you think is a treat, I'd urge you to sit back and wait. I hope what happens next won't take you by surprise. Understand this. You can rebrand yourself as a lawyer, as a client, or as a media company. It makes no difference. Your name is on the record, not mine, and no amount of performance will scrub it clean. Yours sincerely, Kash Patel, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. And so we waited to see what would happen next, and whether it would take us by surprise. But meanwhile, Hadley cracked and sent them this. Hi, Kash and Mark. Cassandra and I would like to extend our deepest thanks for the 2-month improv show you unknowingly performed for us. Truly, it was a tour de farce. We especially enjoyed the cameo appearances by the head of the FBI and New Scotland Yard, because obviously, when no money changes hands, international law enforcement drops everything to investigate. Bravo for that plot twist. Your confusion over whether Hadley and Cassandra were the same person, iconic. It's giving I just googled how to scam and click the first link vibes. If you do ever manage to steal money, I suggest you use it to enrol in a tech class at your nearest high school in Lagos or Rwanda. Or maybe just start with a basic spelling course. Hadley does not equal hardly. Pick a name and commit, lads. P.S. Your scam was so inconsistent, I half expected a plot twist involving a Nigerian prince and a cursed inheritance. Missed opportunity. We awarded you brownie points for the clever use of the PayPal mule with the email address that was a version of scooby-doo@gmail.com. Possibly your most professional twist. Not. Wishing you all the worst in your future endeavours. May your scams continue to be as ineffective and unintentionally hilarious as this one. Warmest regards, Hadley and Cassandra, Still not the same person. Shockingly, she added in brackets, Scam Exposure Productions Limited. And she sent them these two attachments. The scammer feedback form, which said, please take a moment to rate your experience of being thoroughly dismantled by Hadley and Cassandra. Your opinion matters to us. You're currently number 35 in the queue. Feedback. 1. How would you rate the effectiveness of Hadley and Cassandra's scam detection? Poor. We totally fooled them. Average. They asked questions. Brutal. We will admit ourselves to rehab. 2. How surprised were you when they didn't send any money? Not surprised. We knew it was a long shot. Mildly surprised. Thought the email address that looked like Scooby-Doo would seal the deal. Devastated. Already spent the imaginary fridge refund. 3. How well did you keep your story straight? Perfectly. We're master storytellers. A few plot holes. Not at all. We spelled Hadley 3 different ways in one email. What was your favourite part of being investigated? The witty comebacks? The complete lack of money received? The existential crisis when we realised Hadley and Cassandra were 2 people? 5. Will you be watching the video when it comes out? Yes. Can't wait to see how daft we sounded. No. The shame and embarrassment would be too much. Our wives would leave us. 6. Are there any additional comments you would like to leave for us? And the company's scammer performance review. Scam, Team Cash and Mark. Review period, 2 months. Conducted by Hadley and Cassandra. Scam investigation royalty. Overall rating, we gave them 1 star. Our comments. Your scam had the structure of a wet napkin and the logic of a soap opera subplot. Tech skills, we gave them 1 star. Your tech skills are so outdated, we half expected you to fax us the scam. Failed to notice you were being baited. Results and impact, no money received, 2 months wasted, emotional damage, self-inflicted. Executive summary. The inability to tell an even passingly believable story was evident from the beginning. Plot changes happened randomly, marked by unprecedented failure, confusion and humiliation. Despite bold claims and fictional law enforcement involvement, Team Cash and Mark failed to secure a single penny. The operation was derailed by 2 investigators with a Wi-Fi connection and a sense of humour. Key losses by the scammer, I gave them 3 stars. Time, 60 days, credibility, dignity, lost somewhere between Hardley and Hadley. Lessons learned. Scooby-Doo is not a lawyer. Cassandra is not Hadley. Hadley is not Hardley. You are not good at this. At the time, we thought that was the end. But, of course, by now, you all know there's an episode 15 and there's going to be an episode 16. But Hadley has been wanting to run a competition because Hadley's a very sad person. She has nothing else to do with her life, apparently, than count how many times Tom said please in this videos. Just Tom, not Jessica. So she's going to run a competition. I'll put up a community post as well. Guess the number of times that Tom said please. When I put up the community post, you can leave your guesses in the comments. The person that gets closest will get a mention at the end of episode 16. So get guessing, guys. Disclaimer, I haven't counted them, so I can't guarantee that Hadley got the answer correct, but the judge's decision is final, and Hadley's the judge. And of course, please like this episode, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again in episode 15, although I don't know when that's going to go live, because we want to finish episode 16 first, so that we have 2 episodes for you.